Hi guys, welcome back to another installment of Professor Charles S. Live in the building today. And today we're going to talk about the movie Onward. So guys, forgive me, I have notes for the movie too. So I just want to say Onward was definitely a decent Pixar film. Just by off the starts. Believe that. Two characters, pretty much two brothers. One thing I love about this film that really worked out, Chris Pratt playing Barley, and Tom Holland playing Ian. Now, one thing that stood out between the two brothers because they're elves, um, Ian was kind of shy and nervous, the little brother, whereas Barley, Lightfoot, because Lightfoot is their actual name, right? Lightfoot pretty much was that their last name. The movie deals with magic. And what do I mean by magic? It starts off with a society where things worked off with magic. They used magic to do quests, magic to fulfill their lives. That was their livelihood. And one thing I liked about this aspect of it, it showed how human society changed when inventions came around and things start to pick off, where in this society, like how it is within human society. So there's some relatable themes in this movie that work. Starts to become a little bit more, I guess you could say, lazier. I don't want to say lazy, but just a little bit more lazier, where people are not as active or have forgotten how to be brave and everything. And I just gotta say, I like the chemistry between Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. Like, I would love to see another animated film with these two in it together. Also, the person that played their mother, Laurel Lightfoot, Julia, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, Dreyfus. Excuse me if I'm butchering her name. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it the best way I know how to say it. She played the overprotective mother. That's the elf. And you can tell that she really loved her sons within this film. And also I forgot to mention, in the world where there was magic, world found simpler ways to get by and magic faded away. So that kind of gives you the premise of what the movie is going to be about. And we see that we come across three different magical creatures. And let me just look at something. I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. So them trying to bring back their deceased loved one, because dad leaves them an actual staff. And the thing is, with this staff, it doesn't fully transform their dad. All he has is walking legs, pretty much. So the gem and the staff breaks, and this is when the brothers go on a quest to pretty much figure out how to bring their dad back fully for one day. Kind of puts you in mind of I don't know if you guys have seen Full Metal Alchemist, to a little bit, not completely. They didn't bring nobody back and someone lost all their body parts, nothing like that, but just them caring about a loved one so much that they want to see them one last time. The other thing in this film that I really saw that was really interesting, pretty much Ian had a list. Ian's list was interesting, new me. And on the list it says, speak up more, learn to drive, invite people to a party, be like dad. That was something that was really interesting, because we see Ian having issues with being nervous and shy. He wasn't like his brother Barley, which is played by Chris Pratt. He wasn't as brave or courageous. He wasn't someone that was like, trying to protect historical landmarks or anything like that. And that's where they stood out pretty much. I said, this is definitely, it's a kid's film, and there's some adult like themes in there. And I like the interest of it. And I love that Guinevere was the name of Ian's brother's truck and Barley. I was like, what, bro? You named your truck Guinevere? I thought it was pretty neat. And I just gotta say, when I seen that, I said, yo. One thing, I'm gonna talk about some of the characters. Okay, so the Manicore. that was the first magical creature that they encounter on their journey. The Manticore pretty much was like this lion with a scorpion tail and with wings. And what did we learn about the Manticore? The Manticore eventually stopped doing adventures. That's what we learned about it. The Manticore pretty much was a restaurant owner. And she's like, look, I got investors, I got in payroll. And one thing I loved about the Manticore, like you had the one that's the mascot. And it was so funny when Ian Barley's like, we're looking for the real Manticore. And the other Manticore was just like, goofy and just, out of nowhere, just because it was a restaurant. It wasn't always a restaurant, and we could see that the Manticore was like, I'm living a lie. And sometimes as human beings, we do live lies. Sometimes we're like, yeah, I really am like that, da, da, da. And I love that aspect of it because sometimes as human beings, we do lie to people. We tend to live a lie. And that's real life. You know what I'm saying? I think Pixar really came in depth with this one. And like I said, the Manticore was like, look, I got investors, I got payroll. Like, they're going to shut my restaurant down. I can't keep going on these adventures that's dangerous and not taking a risk. But then you can see that Ian pretty much says, this is what it says on the little description thing. And you can see that the Manticore had a change of heart. And that's when it said, I'm living a lie. I'm like, wow. So I thought that was very interesting. And that's something that I saw. The next group of people they encounter in this film are the Pixies. The Pixies are the stereotypical bikers, rude, nasty, just bully their way across the road, you know what I'm saying, that we saw in this film. And we can see that the Pixies forgot how to fly. They no longer knew how to fly. And we saw Barley kind of pick up a fight with them when they were messing with the dad. And I said, man, that's crazy. Because Barley said, man, y'all don't even know how to fly no more. All y'all know how to do is ride motorcycles. That's it. And you know what I'm saying? I said, okay, Pixar. Do I smell a conspiracy? No, I'm just messing with you guys. But I think that was very interesting that they had the Pixies be bikers. And that was very interesting. I love the aspect of that. I said, oh, okay. Now we got the Pixies. So that was something that was really dope. Also in this film, I love that once Ian gets through his new me list and also trying to be like dad, we see throughout the list the two brothers Ian and Barley weren't always on best of terms. That's one thing I liked about the movie. You can see that they clashed in the one scene where they pretty much pretend to be their mother's boyfriend, called as a centaur that's kind of like the mom's new boyfriend. And you could tell that Ian and Barley didn't quite, they're brothers, but of course they're going to clash sometimes. Like, look, I have a god brother. So, you have god brothers and you're not going to always agree with them. They may not be blood brothers, but you know what I'm saying. But the thing was, you can see they clashed a bit, and that's like typical family. You're not going to always agree with certain things that your family members do. But we see them clash a little bit in the film. And also towards the end of the film, they go through this, magical adventure, and towards the end, they're back where they began. So sometimes, things happen for a reason, and you have to go back to where you begin, and that's how it is. Sometimes you look at all the things that they did, even if the things they didn't quite do, it was scratched off on the list. And also, I love that Laurel, which is Barley and Ian's mother, literally slayed the dragon, because the reason why they went on the quest was to revive Dad. And I felt like I wish Barley wouldn't have spent more time with Dad. I'm sorry, I'm selfish, guys. I wish Ian would have got a chance to spend time with Dad before he went back. Excuse me. And the reason I say that is because I said to myself, like, he didn't really get a chance to know his dad like that, like Barley did. Barley was still around. And Ian said the family thing was that when his dad died, he was kind of mean and sick. And and that was kind of like the family secret. He was mean. But I felt that I wish we would have had Dad talking. I mean, I kind of understood why, because he was partly done with the magic staff and stuff. The cast was quite enjoyable. It kind of reminded me of like the Wizard of Oz to some extent, because each character symbolized something. Like I said, the Pixies eventually learned how to fly again. The Manticore eventually had the courage to fly again and be brave. Colt, which is the mother's boyfriend, he was a police officer as well. He started to walk naturally again. So some of the characters, and Ian actually became a wizard. So there's a possibility this could be a sequel to the film. But I actually enjoyed this film. I like I said, this to me, it was like I said, a 4 out of 5, excuse me. I just wish that we would have had Ian bond with Dad versus Barley. Barley already knew how Dad was. Ian didn't. I kind of felt that was kind of, messed up. And I was shocked that Laurel defeated the dragon. I was like, dang, I wanted Ian or Barley to defeat the dragon. I felt that would have been a lot better of a plot, but it is what it is. You guys tell me in the comments, did you see Onward, the movie Disney Onward? Tell me in the comments, guys. This is your boy, Professor Charles S. Love in the building today. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I'm out. Peace.